Hey everybody, and welcome to today's podcast where I'll be joined by another one of our members. Today it's Aisling O'Connor, and Aisling is going to be talking about having bulimia, how she developed it and how she overcame it. We'll also talk about social media, mindset, fitness and nutrition. So have a listen, I hope you enjoy it, and please let me know what you think. Thank you.
This is the Ger Conroy Fitness Podcast. For more, see gerconroy.ie.
Hello Ash, welcome to the podcast. Look, we just get straight into it, okay? Tell me, the first question I always ask most people is, why did you start your fitness journey?
I started a couple of times, so I failed the first few times.
Go back to the very start then, yeah.
Yeah, so back to the very start, when my dad passed away when I was 17, I moved over to Spain and I was severely bulimic at the time. So I was gaining weight all the time. I was drinking a lot. I was working in a bar. It got to a stage where I really wasn't fitting into my clothes. And there was a guy I worked with at the time and he happened to be a PT. So he's like, why don't you just try and go to the gym? But anxiety wise, going into a gym when you've never been in one before, especially in a foreign country, nobody spoke English in the gym either. So it's very intimidating. So I let him bring me in. I started PT with him and realized that Jesus, fitness really does cure the mind. Yeah. So I did that for about a year, but then I moved home. I continued to kind of go to the gym, but didn't really know what I was doing. Hadn't really got a clue. Went to the gym in college and the gym in my workplace at the time. I was working for Guinness's in the Guinness storehouse. So there was a gym associated with the business. Again, no idea what I was doing. And it was only kind of when I stopped then for a while. Then I moved over to Australia, kind of went with the lads every now and again. Still didn't really know what I was doing. Couldn't afford PT over there. It's very expensive. But really when I went into it was after I had Reen. So obviously I have an 8-year-old boy. So as soon as I had him, I was like, right, that's it now. I want to be at my best, because it's hard enough to have a kid and then your body completely changes, but to not have confidence in your own skin is tough. So that's when I went to you.
Yeah, and we get to that in a minute then. Before all that, actually, like when you forced, you just said there, you hadn't got obviously like the healthiest relationship with food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know we kind of talked about food obviously a lot when we started training, but how did you kind of, like, is there anything you think might have brought it on, or how did you actually deal with that? It's in itself.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
And when did you realize? And when did you realize that you had a problem? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it started in secondary school. I think the stress of my dad being sick and the leaving cert, I kind of just started making myself sick. I was so under pressure. From everyone else being skinnier, and why hadn't I got a boyfriend, and why was I not attractive, and this, that, and the other. Whereas it wasn't that case at all. It was just that I wasn't actually allowing anyone to get to know me. So all the girls kind of had their own thing going on. They were all slimmer. I felt like the big one in the group. So I started making myself sick, and you kind of go into a different mindset. It was very strange. You're not the same person when you're getting sick as you are when you're actually out in the world. So it did get to a very bad stage where, I'd go for dinner with family and I would have a timer on my watch, because I know when you digest food, and I'd have to go into the restaurant and make myself sick if it got to a stage where I thought that food was going to digest in my stomach, or I'd weigh myself before I got sick, and I wouldn't let myself stop until I'd lost exactly what I was before I ate. Like, my mindset was completely screwed up. But to get over it, I just kind of one day clicked. I didn't go and talk to anyone about it. It wasn't a case of that. It was like, enough is enough was kind of what it got to at one stage. I was like, this is bollocks. You're not losing any weight by doing this. In fairness, you're gaining weight by doing it. And it was by going to the gym, that's kind of actually what stopped me from doing it. Because I wasn't doing any fitness. I was purely just making myself sick. So going to the gym really kind of stopped that from happening. I was like, oh, I can lose weight without having to make myself sick.
Yeah, and we used to say, or we used to think it was a big problem, let's say 10, 20 years ago or whatever. But now we have social media and Instagram, and we all know Instagram can't be too real. There's a lot of people putting up what they say is their best life, and you even see Instagram and reality, and people are actually sharing what it really looks like without all these filters and stuff. So there's a lot of pressure on everybody, young kids, especially girls, and they're feeling like they have to look a certain way. And that's obviously now bad for their mentality. And when it comes to a relationship with food, and there's a lot of people falling into that trap again. And you touched, like, it wasn't Instagram back when you were having these issues. You were talking about school and pressure and how girls looked, or you were saying you felt like, did you feel like the biggest one, or did someone tell you were the biggest one?
No, I just felt like it. No one ever called me fat. Like, and to be fair, before I actually became bulimic, I wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was actually only after, because I went as 2 different types of bulimia. So you can either starve yourself and puke anything that you eat up, or you can binge. I was a binger. So I could consume 5,000 calories in one sitting and then make myself sick. So I was gaining weight all the time. But with Instagram, it's a case of, sure, even before we did this podcast, I was like, oh my God, I have to go on camera without a filter. Like, that's how we're conditioned now. And it's actually frightening. Like, I would have an unfiltered picture on Instagram last week. I shot myself doing it. Like, I was like, what am I doing? Why do I have to put a filter? Now, I don't have a filter in real life. So if someone doesn't like me in real life and they don't like me through a picture, then they don't like me. You know what I mean? So it's so conditioned now, and it's scary for young girls, because you can change the whole type, you can change the whole shape of your face. Half the girls I know have 6 or 7 Photoshop apps on their phone, that when they upload a picture, they won't actually put the picture on Instagram until they change the size of their hips, the size of their boobs, the size of their face, their nose, the shape of everything. And it's like, but that's not you. You're not putting up a picture of you.
And do you feel those insecurities come from just the pressure of social media and other people putting up filters? Like, where did it all start? Because there was these problems in people's mindsets, especially young girls, teenage girls, before all Instagram, before filters. And it was, I suppose, just maybe it was magazines at the time or wherever it was. But
yeah, it was magazines back in my day.
Back in your day.
Such an L one. It was magazines back when I was younger, but now it is funny, like it is Instagram. I think it's getting a bit better when you see people now kind of doing the Instagram versus reality thing, but like, it's huge out there. There's so many people putting up like, boom bod, use this to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. When realistically, these people have gone over to Turkey and gotten their BBL or their liposuction, and then they're promoting. And let's be honest, they have no real 9-to-5 jobs. So they have personal trainers who are working for them twice a day, and they're getting up and they have the money to be able to do that. Like, there's no excuse for not training. Like, there's 24 hours in a day. Yeah, you can get your training in. But if you're not working and you're literally being paid to have that shape, then you're going to have that shape. Your management are going to have you in that shape. So you're not in the same position as some teenagers or young adults. So there is a massive amount of pressure out there. But I think that people need to start to understand just to love the person you are, because as soon as you do that, you'll actually get your results quicker. And that's what I learned.
Definitely, yeah. I even had somebody come to me, well, it was over a year ago now, because it was just before lockdown, but they were saying to me, I want to, say, lose weight and get abs. And I was like, okay, do you have anybody, or do you have anything else in mind for your goals, rather than just, I want to lose weight and get a six-pack? And they mentioned this celebrity, and they were like, I want to look like this celebrity. And I was like, okay. So you do realize, now this is actually a male. So they were saying, I want to look like him. And I said, well, you do realize, first of all, they look like that in the movies because they have 6 months, 12 months preparation, wherever it may be, for the movie. They're training. It's their job to train. And they have, they're celebrities. They have a lot of money. They have an in-house chef. They have all these things. They have people looking after their kids. They have absolutely everything at their disposal. And it's a lot easier for them to get in shape compared to, let's say, you, when you have a full-time job and you have 2 kids. And I was explaining all this to him.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, really? I didn't think. And then there's other celebrities that have to get into certain shape for movies, and not even celebrities, like people are doing like these steroids and everything else. And I'm like, well, you do realize that this is the reality of it. And people,
genetics plays a part in it as well, though. Genetics is a huge thing. And I think people totally don't, like, they disregard the whole genetics thing. Like, people always say to me, oh my God, you've got great legs. Like, you must work out loads because of your legs. And I was like, to be honest with you, even when I was fat, I had those legs. Those legs, they're genetics. Like, it just long, skinny legs for one of my family. Now I'm built, like, obviously I can build muscle and stuff like that. I can shape them my way, but that's just my legs. Whereas I struggle with my lower stomach and back. And I can easily turn around and see someone who doesn't go to the gym, barely works out, but has the stomach and back that I want. But again, genetics. I'm not going to have there, but unless I physically inject their genes into myself, unless there's only one way. Like, I can sculpt myself to the point where I can be happy with what I have, or I can continuously look at someone else and envy them. There's no point. You only get one body, and just treat it well and fucking start to learn to love it, because you can, of course you can shape yourself, but you're not going to have that person's body. That person's body is their body.
And it's their lifestyle as well. Like I said, even to that guy, he has a full-time job. He had 2 kids. There's so many, like even over the years, there'd be girls that'd say to me, I want to look like this and I want to look like that. And I'd be like, okay, well, that individual, first of all, has never had kids. Okay. So there's obviously different aspects to look at there. They've never had kids. They also, now you have 3 kids. You're doing the school runs. You're also still working part-time. There's so many different variables that you can look at. Whereas this actual celebrity doesn't do anything but is in movies and has to train 6 months before to look like this and everything else. It's almost like training and eating healthy is almost like a full-time job to them. And they feel so hard on themselves, and they're like, oh, but I seen her pictures on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, but then there's the Photoshop, and then there's the filters, then there's so much to look at. And I don't think that's...
the whole lot. None of these celebrities have stretch marks. None of them have scars, this, that, and the other. Like, we all know they do, but they're airbrushed.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I used to have such a hang up about stretch marks, like massive hang up about it, because obviously you have a kid. Now I don't have that many, but like, and even when I was growing, like, obviously I had no ass, then I started squatting, now I have an ass. So there's stretch marks there, and they don't bother me. So I'm like, I don't know why those ones don't bother me, because I'm like, oh my God, I finally have a bum. Whereas the ones on my stomach did bother me, whereas they're the ones that gave me a kid. So it's just how you look at things. And what I do hate, though, is when people say, and I think it's one of those biggest things, and I think other girls, especially girls who don't have kids, who say to you, oh, but they're your war wounds from having a kid. Like, you got a kid from that. Like, that means nothing to me. I've scarred my body. Like, regardless of whether I have a kid from it, I don't like them. I don't have to like them. I can accept them, but I don't have to like them. They are a self-conscious thing, especially, like, it's fine when you're with your partner that you had the baby with. But again, I'm single now, and it is one of those things. It is a hang up, and it is something that you're self-conscious about. But the only thing you can do is start to accept what you have. Work on the rest of your body, work on the other parts that are positive. You're never going to love every single part of your body. It's just never going to happen. Everyone has something that you don't like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at other people and just kind of either want what they have, or they never kind of give themselves enough credit for what they're actually achieving. Like, some people, again, over the years, you'd hear, oh, well, like, my friend lost 5 pounds this week, and I could say, well, you lost 4 pounds this week. Oh, yeah, but
and they still hang up on the 5 pounds.
Yeah, and it's almost like a bad thing. And I'm like, even if you only lost a half a pound this week, and that's your actual goal, you should congratulate. You should celebrate it. Not too much by binge eating the weekend, but you know what I mean. You should celebrate it. Be proud of yourself because you're at achieving that. Because if you weren't in the gym, you weren't exercising, you weren't trying to eat healthy, you would have probably put on a half a pound, not lose a half a pound. And everybody just puts so much pressure on themselves to be like somebody else. And when you get comfortable in your own skin, in your own mind, and you realize that you need to be proud of every little achievement, no matter how big or small it is, that's when their lifestyle and their life just changes almost, you know?
Especially these days with what's going on at the moment in the world. Like, I don't think people give themselves enough credit for even just the simple thing of getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I would have struggled very bad with anxiety, but not a lot more than most. But Jesus, the past year, mine has changed completely. There's days where I don't even want to get up. I don't want to get up. I literally stick on the laptop and I'll do my work from my bed, which is the worst thing you can possibly do.
Yeah.
But the only thing that gets me to actually feel better is exercise. And I know that's not the same for other people. There could be other things that people could do. They like going for a walk, or they might just need to just get up and have a shower and have a cup of coffee. But these small little things are things that everyone should be proud of in the situation that we're in. Like, I'm sick of the sight of my house. I'm sitting here 24/7 working, and there's so, like, all I'm doing is picking out things I want to change about the house. Do I have the money to do it? No. Will I get the money to do it? Yep. But there's so many little things, like, and I honestly think the way we're talking about the scales and people losing weight and stuff like that, I actually think the scales is completely toxic. I think it's the worst thing that people can do. Is I only use the scales for body fat, so I get my body fat taken every once a week. My weight goes up, my body fat goes down. I think that people in BMI wise, I'm considered overweight.
Yeah.
I'm actually considered overweight, which I think is outrageous.
It's
Imagine
crazy.
me going to a doctor, and if they take my BMI, my doctor would actually have to turn around to me and say, like, I'm a size 8 to 10 now. I was originally I went from size 16 down to size. I've never, ever, ever been a size 8 to 10. This is the lowest body fat I've ever been. But if I went to a doctor now, he would sit there and say, your BMI is in the overweight category. That's not even funny. Like,
And that
that's
really
all based on the scales.
that really
It
messes
messes
with
with your
people's
head.
head. Yeah, yeah.
The scales used to massively mess with my head. Like, I remember I used to come to you, and like, I'd be down. I think the highest I think was like 5 pounds in 1 week. But I didn't feel any slimmer. But then the next week I was up 2 pounds, and I kicked myself. That's why when we went to do training, then my motivation was down for the whole session, because I was like, I'm up 2 pounds now. What's the point?
Yeah.
Like, it messes with your head. Like,
And that's where, as a trainer, you have to kind of explain. And obviously, I'd had these chats with you as well. You have to explain to people, especially girls, like, there's gonna be. I said it
hormones.
many times. The hormones, yeah, like, you could be losing weight every single week, and then all of a sudden, 1 week of the month, you're up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds maybe in that week. And
Always
people
being
are
a
like,
woman.
but my actual, but like, my actual diet and was really good this week, Jer, and I've actually trained loads this week, and I'm like, okay, but you have to look at it from this side of it. But then the following week, they're down loads of weight again, and they're like, I lost motivation last week, and I actually wasn't trying as hard this week. How am I down? And you're trying to explain it to them, But it's only when you realize, first of all, take it week by week. That's why I'd always do the measurements every single week, because and you
Even if
have to
there's
be
only incremental changes, there's still changes. You
Yeah.
need to understand someone's body week by week and what their cycle is as well, especially if you're a woman. So, like, that's why I take it every single week. But even like the likes of, I studied it because I'm really interested in how, like, weight fluctuates. Like, it fascinates me. So, like, I could be 68 kilos yesterday, but I could be 71 today. Like, it's mad how much it can fluctuate. When I have my cheat meal, I don't always have a cheat meal. I'm actually not a big fan of them, to be honest. I think that you're kind of building yourself up for the whole weekend just to get to that meal. But it works for some people. It doesn't work for me anymore. But I have a cheat meal, and like that morning I could be 69 kilos. That cheat meal could be full of salt. I'm after having water retention. I'm after having some alcohol. So the next morning I'm either down because of the alcohol, or I'm up because of that cheat meal and the extra water that I'm retaining. Like, if it was my time in the month, I'm up 2 or 3 kilos. Like, end of story. Like, it's just natural. It's there. It's nothing I can change.
When that happens to girls, a lot of them, if they don't have a trainer to sit and explain that to them, a lot of them would get very disheartened, and they'd be like, no, that's it.
Yeah.
It didn't work. The gym, I'm gone. And then what will happen is they go back home, they start sitting on the couch, they're not exercising, and then all of a sudden you look at it 6 months later and they're back up now 10, 15 kilos, whatever they've lost initially,
Either that, or they go to the extreme of, okay, I'm going to do a week of detoxing and I'm going to eat literally the minimum amount of food. And it's like, that's not helping you. You're also going to retain water by doing that, because you're starving your body. Calorie deficit is a huge thing, and it's the most important thing that anyone needs to understand is if you really, really want to try and kind of lower your body fat and lower your weight, putting a food diary together is a huge benefit. Like, watch exactly what you're doing, but don't cheat yourself either and be like, oh, I had that Kit Kat, but I'm not going to write that down because my trainer doesn't want to see that. Your trainer does want to see that. Your trainer has to see that. If he can't see that, and you're paying money for him to give you advice, and you're not putting down that Kit Kat, then you're cheating yourself. You're not cheating anyone else. It's the same way when you go into like a class, like a group class, and you see people and they're skipping like 7 or 8 reps.
Yeah.
I don't think they realize they're not cheating the trainer, they're cheating themselves. Like, those 7 or 8 reps might absolutely destroy you, but that pushing past your comfort zone is what's going to get you results, not the other way around. So the trainer doesn't give a shite if you skip reps, because at the end of the day, you're only cheating yourself. If they don't see you, they don't see you. But
and when you have someone who brings you their food plan and shows you that they're eating, let's say, a Kit Kat, and at least they're being honest, so they'll always be honest with you then. Whereas if there's somebody and they're telling you they've ate nothing but veg and protein for the whole week and they're up 4 pounds, but you haven't seen them in the gym, or you know that they're lying, and
they're lying. Like, what's the point? You're lying. They're lying to themselves, though. They're not lying to you. They're lying to themselves, because I get it. They're embarrassed. They don't want to say, oh, do you know what? I fucking absolutely milled a 4-in-1 there at the weekend. It was sexual. They don't want to say that because they don't want to be embarrassed about it.
But that's
But
the
like,
thing.
I write things down and my trainer goes to me, literally turn around to me and go, you're a fat fuck. And I'm like, I know. And he's like, so don't do that this week. And I'm like, fine. Like,
But that's the thing.
one or the other.
The more honest you are, and then the trainer can sit with you and can explain to you, here's why you should do this, here's why you shouldn't do that, and here's the benefits, the pros and cons of doing everything. And it helps you, and you learn more. And the more you learn and understand, the easier it will be for you to follow it as well.
Your trainer learns as well and is learning your body and your day to day. Like, when you invest in yourself. So like, one thing is that someone said, my sister said to me like a couple of weeks ago, she's like, how are you not saving money during this pandemic? How are you not saving money? You're not going out, because like, let's be honest, I used to go out a lot on the bar, a few shots of tequila. Like, she's like, how are you not saving money? I was like, because I'm invested in myself. I'm actually investing in my body and my health. So I'm investing in fitness.
Yeah.
Like, I spend a lot of money on, like, between food and knowledge. Like, so I'm actually like signed up for a course just to kind of learn about nutrition and stuff like that.
Lovely.
Like, I've invested in myself. But if you're going to invest in yourself and you're going to invest in a trainer, then you have to be fully, like, everything has to be on the table. You can't hide stuff, because hiding stuff, you're wasting your money. You're literally wasting your money. If you're going to tell your trainer, oh, I trained 4 times this week and I had chicken and broccoli for dinner, chicken and broccoli for lunch, I had eggs for breakfast, like, what are you lying for? And I think another thing is that people fail a lot is because they put themselves on a massively strict diet. To the point, that's where I used to fail. So I used to wake up on a Monday and be like, yeah, here we go, another week. I'm going to do a proper diet this week and all plain foods. I've learned to love food. I've learned to love cooking. I research recipes that I can do. Like, I'm trying to do a new recipe every week. I've fallen back in love with fish and like just little things like that. Like, knowing that, stop being lazy, chop up a shitload of vegetables on a Sunday, have them in the fridge, so that if you want it in the afternoon and you want it, like, you're starving, rather than order a takeaway or Deliveroo. Because let's be honest, that's the biggest problem at the moment, is everything's so accessible. Like, McDonald's delivers, for fuck's sake. McDonald's delivers. Like, that was the worst thing that's happened to my house, because Reen wants a Happy Meal or anything like that. I'm like, I just get something off the Eurosaver menu. No, Ashling, you won't get something off the Eurosaver menu. But everything's so accessible. Every restaurant is accessible. Every takeaway is accessible. You've Deliveroo, you've Uber Eats, you've Just Eat.ie. It's a click of a button. Your card is saved to the app. You don't even have to input details. It's literally the click of a button. And I think that laziness is instilled in everyone now, because nobody can be fucking arsed to go anywhere, because you can't go out for dinner or you can't physically go to the gym. So everyone's kind of fed up now. But like, having like prep is key. If you sit there on a Sunday and you say, right, do you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to meal prep for the week. I'm going to have lunches for the week. On top of that, have a load, and I think this has helped me in the past couple of weeks, is just have a load of fresh chopped up veg in the fridge. Because then, right, throw a few prawns into a wok, throw the vegetables in, a bit of rice, and you're done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas one of the biggest things is having to get out the veg, having to chop the veg, it's just like all the effort.
You just spend like 1 hour on a Sunday, let's say, and you do all of that, you know. And then if people say, oh, but I can't, I have kids. Okay, I understand you don't have time to prep every single day. So try and do it on a Sunday, as you said. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have an hour every single day to do it, so you're right, do it on the Sunday, spend an hour, chop it up and get it all ready.
I do it once a week.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. I just, like, I'm sorry, but like, I am one of the biggest people that used to make excuses all the time. I don't have time. I have this. I have Reen. I work 9 to 5. Yeah, grand, you do. But there is no such a thing as no time, especially now. People aren't commuting to work anymore. I've gained back 2 hours of my day. So why would not you not invest those 2 hours that you have in your day from your commute and put them into something positive? There's ways and means of doing things. Like, I think we all have days where we turn everything into a negative, but if you can just, even if you only achieve 3 days out of the 7 in your first week that you ate healthy, you got 3 days. So maybe next week aim for 4. Maybe the week after aim for 5. Like, but it's small gains. Like, I think people put too much pressure on themselves to be instantly perfect. There's no such thing. Like, I've had days where, like, and I train a lot and I do eat really, really healthy. I'm actually, and it's not even to lose weight or anything like that. It's just because my body feels better when I eat healthy. I feel crap when I eat crap. And I'm one of the lucky ones in the sense of I'm not a big fan of chocolate. I don't really like sweets. Thank the good shite. I really don't. Like if someone offered me a bar, like no, come at me with a bag of Doritos, I'll bite your arm off.
Yeah.
But come at me with it, like when Easter eggs around like that, I'm like, no. I think people they put themselves under too much pressure. They put this whole Monday club thing of, right, I'm going to absolutely destroy myself for the weekend, but on Monday I'm going to start again. No, because what's going to happen is you're going to start on Monday, you're going to get to Friday, and the whole thing cycles itself.
And that's where the short-term goals, medium-term and long-term goals, everybody has to have that. But just hearing you talking about your food and your whole mindset on food, it's really great to hear, because it was totally the opposite years back when I first met you and started training you. And I'm like, you've
I was
such a long way over the years, and especially from having that really bad relationship with food.
Yeah. I was terrified of food, especially when I first started training, because I was like, anything I ate, I was like, does this mean I'm going to be up on the scales this week? And I was eating very, very plain food, and I wasn't enjoying my food. Like, because to be honest, my brother went through a fitness journey just before I did back then, and he actually turned around to you when we were down in one of the bars, was it Gilbert and Wright's down in Colester. I'll never forget him saying this. We're out in the smoking area, and he goes, do you know what, Ash? Here's what you do. Just don't enjoy your food. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? And he was like, don't enjoy your food. Food is just for survival. Food is not to enjoy. And it's the worst advice anyone could have ever given me. The man has no qualifications in fitness. Can we just put that out there? No qualifications in nutrition whatsoever. But he managed to be fair, he went into beast mode and he managed to lose a shitload of weight. But he was able to put himself into that mindset. But he was like, don't enjoy your food. You don't need to enjoy your food. And I was like, all right, grand. No, you do need to enjoy your food. Otherwise, it's not sustainable.
It helps when you enjoy the food. It's the same as anything. And some people do. Some people do eat certain foods. I love cooking. Yeah, but if you don't, like, some people literally do eat certain foods just for the sake of it, just because they heard, oh, I was told this is high in protein, I need to eat it. I was told these are good fats, I need to eat it. But again, unless you actually enjoy it, well, then you won't prep it. You won't spend the time cooking it. You will go for the takeaways or whatever, No, but that's really
the likes of protein shakes. I think people are very uneducated about the benefits of protein shakes and the non-benefits of protein shakes. I think some people just take protein shakes because they feel like, if I take protein shake, that means I'm healthy and that means I'm fit and I'll drink that protein shake. You don't need to drink protein shakes. You're better off eating a chicken fillet than you are drinking a protein shake. Now, I have plenty of protein there. But I would mainly use protein to make protein pancakes, or if I want to make brownies, or like if I'm having one of those days where, do you know what, I'm really not feeling food today, I'm not really hungry, I'll get the protein shake just so I can get that nutrition into me. But do I use that as a means of replacing a meal? No, it doesn't work like that.
They're not meal replacements, and it's not a meal. Like, it's a supplement, so it will supplement you if you're not getting enough protein into your diet. A lot of like say, vegetarians,
which can be very beneficial, but I think a lot of people use it. Yeah, they use it as a diet replacement, so it's a case of they may as well be drinking a fucking Slim Fast shake. Do you know what I mean? It's a case of, oh, I won't have lunch, but I'll have a protein shake. Not sufficient. So I think people are afraid to eat more to lose more, because sometimes that actually works like that. Yeah. You increase your calories ever so slightly and then bring them down. You put your body into shock and your body will lose weight. If you decrease your calories far too much, there's no room for growth there. There's no room for change. So your body will completely be sustainable on those calories and it will stay that weight.
It's just
but weight again, mindset, scales, people are so hung up on the number on the scales. Like I went down to, I think it was 64 kilograms. I had no muscle. Yeah, I was skinny. It was great. I looked great in clothes, but didn't feel good outside of clothes because I had no muscle. I had no bum. I had no tone. I had like literally no definition on my body. I'd be 6 kilos heavier now, and I look better now than I did when I was at 64 kilos.
And for somebody then who was maybe in that place you were all them years ago, really bad relationship with food, or if they're going through it, Like what would you say to them? Like obviously you've been there and done it and you've come through it, and now your mindset is totally different when it comes to food. Your relationship is totally different with food. What would you say to somebody if they're in that position right now?
Stop being scared of food and stop comparing yourself to everyone else, because you can only, and it's a long journey. Like it's not just, yeah, I woke up one day and decided, you know what, I'm not going to make myself sick anymore. I still to this day, I mean, we're talking, that was 15 something years ago. I still to this day would get that urge. If I have really, really bad food, I do get that urge. God, if I just made myself sick now, that would be gone. You have to push past it. It's very, very hard to do. It's a long journey. You will have times where you will mess up and you will do it again, which I did for the first kind of couple of years. But you need to understand what foods your body appreciates and what foods your body doesn't. So it's trial and error. Like I know for a fact that carbs are not really great for me. Like not because the carbs are not bad. There's no such thing as bad carbs. I hate when people say, "Oh, I can't eat carbs. I'm gonna gain weight." You won't gain weight by eating carbs. Your body needs carbs. You have to find the right carbs. So like bread doesn't agree with me. Potatoes don't really agree with me. Rice does. I'm great with rice. Wholemeal pasta works for me. White pasta does not work for me. So it's finding out what foods that your body appreciates, what foods your body doesn't, what foods make your body feel good and what foods make them feel bad. So if I eat, so even the likes of like, I used to eat porridge every morning. Can't eat porridge every morning. It literally bloats me so bad and I actually get pain in my stomach. So I might have a slight intolerance to it. Could be that. But if you're in a situation where you don't feel like there's any, and you are making yourself sick or you're starving yourself, first of all, I would advise to go and speak to someone. I didn't go and speak to someone. I kind of came to that realization myself. But again, I was in a foreign country. I hadn't got family around me. I hadn't got my normal friends around me. So I didn't really have that option. But you do need to go and speak to someone because there could be an underlying situation there. And I think my underlying situation was the fact that I was going through a grieving process. My dad had just passed away and I continued that on. So I didn't deal with the grief. I used the bulimia as an escape from the grief. So there always is kind of some form of underlying condition there. So it is important to go and speak to someone. It's all free online. There's so many like things you can call. And I know nobody feels comfortable talking to a stranger about issues that they're having, but sometimes talking to a stranger is a lot easier than talking to someone you know, because you might not want to tell someone that you're going through what you're going through. Like nobody knew I was bulimic. Nobody. There wasn't I think probably one or two friends would have heard me but never said anything. And I also think as a friend, if you see your friend kind of going through something and you do feel like they might be doing something like that, they might be starving themselves or they might be making themselves sick, approach them. And I think people are too afraid these days to approach friends when they're going through something. But mental health is so bad at the moment for everyone. Like you might see someone on Instagram and think they're living life, they're rosy, they're grand. Like realistically, they're not.
You see a lot of people now kind of, even obviously celebrities, you're seeing it now. People are being, let's say, mean on social media, and now it's only starting to come out what type of effects it has on people, you know, and you don't know what people are going through, you know, and you just don't know people's situation. So that's why you always say be kind to everybody, you know.
There's no need for anyone to be, and you have to be negative in yourself if you have the time and energy to actually physically go and abuse someone online. Like you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think we were all brought up with that mentality. Like our moms bet it into us. But I just think, like, sure, there was about a month and a half ago, I woke up to messages. It was actually Valentine's Day, which was fab because I was sitting on my own on Valentine's Day and it was around midnight, and some girl actually created an Instagram page. She had 0 followers, 0 posts, just to inbox me verbal abuse. Now I'm talking like really, really bad verbal abuse. And it just dawned on me. I was like, thank God I'm a strong person and I can take that kind of negativity. But had I not been a strong person and had I been someone else, that could have really, really destroyed me. The girl who made up the profile to message me, my response was just, I hope you find the help you need. I didn't engage with her. I didn't abuse her back because as far as I'm concerned, I feel sorry for whoever this person is, that they feel so bad in themselves that they need to negatively impact on someone else. They obviously have issues. They obviously have something going on in themselves, and they're upset, and they've just vented. It's not against me. They're actually worrying themselves. Does that make sense? So I didn't engage. There's no point.
Yeah, of course not. You're only wasting your own energy. Like when it comes to then, obviously you've done really well getting over the whole bad relationship with food. Okay, like that's really good. It's great to see how far you've come when it comes to how your mindset on food over the last few years in particular. But when it comes to going to the gym, I know you work full time, you have a child. Like, how do you? A lot of people will say, I don't have time to go to the gym. Obviously, when gyms are open, but even now, I don't have time. It's locked down, but I'm still working. I still have kids. Kids are now back in school. I don't have the time. How do you find the time then?
There's 24 hours in a day. I'm sorry, but it's an excuse. There is 24 hours in a day. Even if you just take the kids and go for an hour walk, that in itself is a workout. I think that people underestimate how much walking can do. Or even just going out and kicking a ball around with kids, that's a workout in itself. You have 24 hours in a day. When your kids go to bed, take half an hour and do a HIIT workout for half an hour. You get up in the morning before you have to drop them to school and do a quick workout. There is so much time while they're in school. There's no way you don't get a break from work. You get a break from work, so take a break and do a workout. It'll make you feel 10 times better. I used to go through a routine of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. This used to go over to Alti Peak, and I'd do my Alti Peak session. Then I'd go into Jer's gym and I'd do my weight session, and I'd be home and all before I had to go to work or before I had to drop rain. If you really, really want to invest in yourself and you really want to get your results, then you need to dedicate yourself to it.
Just about prioritizing, really, isn't it? Like if you really want something, it's like the same in anything in life. You want it, you just have to prioritize it and put the time into it.
Start small. I think that people put themselves under far too much pressure of, right, I'm going to work out 5 days this week. Take it one day at a time. If you wake up on a Monday and you're like, you know what, today I can't do a HIIT workout, I don't have the energy, go out for a walk. Set a goal every day. So maybe choose Monday is going to be the day that I'm going to go for my walk. Tuesday is the day I'm going to do a HIIT workout. Wednesday I'm going to take a rest day. Thursday I might do a bit of weights. Just prioritize your week. If you spend time on a Sunday between your meal prep and kind of prioritizing your week and saying exactly what your goal is for each day, the feeling that you'll get from just being able to tick that off on the Monday. Did I do my hour walk today? Yeah.
That's the thing about it. The
satisfaction you get from this small thing is unreal.
Like if someone has never exercised before in their life, you'd understand that they don't know the feeling you get after exercising. But when people have exercised for years and now all of a sudden they're just not exercising and they're using every excuse under the sun, we'll always have excuses. But if you still aren't able to say to yourself, well, remember that feeling I had? It's only 30 minutes. Just press start on the stop clock, do a quick 30-minute bodyweight exercise, because people are using the excuse. Like I get it in mails. Hey, Jer, really unmotivated. Like they're trying to get me to motivate them, but you can't motivate someone who doesn't want to be motivated either. And they're using every excuse. Oh, well, I'm up to my eyes. I have 3 kids. I have this. I have whatever. I have to work full time. I kind of do 12-hour shifts in work. I don't have gym equipment. You don't need gym equiment.
You don't need gym equipment. Body weight is just as good.
Like you said there,
and then
24 hours.
Sometimes it's even a 20-minute, like even a 20-minute workout, or do a little challenge where it's like 100 squats, 100 jump jacks, 100 this, like small things. It takes you 20 minutes. The feeling you get afterwards is unreal. Build it up. Do a 10-minute one day, do a 15-minute the next day, do a 20-minute the next day, build it up. Don't put yourself under so much pressure that you feel like you have to do an hour of exercise a day. You don't. There's days where I lie on my arse.
If there's days where you're not motivated, okay, how do you become motivated? What do you say to yourself to get up off that sofa, stop watching Netflix, whatever it is? How do you say to yourself, okay, I'm really unmotivated here, but now I gotta go. I gotta do this. How do you talk yourself into it? You
think it's the same even when the gyms were open. Getting there is the hardest. When you're there, it's grand, you get it done. It's getting there. I woke up yesterday hungover to pieces. Really wasn't having any of it. No, not a bit. I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay here all day. I'm gonna eat McDonald's. I just didn't. I was like, how much worse are you gonna feel if you go and order a horrible takeaway and sit here and feel sorry for yourself? Get your arse off that couch. I just went for a walk. I did a 30-minute walk, came back, and I just did literally 20 minutes of HIIT, and hangover was gone, headache was gone, and my whole persona changed, because like it just, and to be honest with you, one of the biggest things, and I know this sounds really like small and kind of menial, but getting up in the morning, even though you're stuck at home, getting up, one of the biggest things I've learned is getting up, having a shower, getting dressed, and just being, because if you sit around all day or lie in bed or stay in your pajamas, you're not you, you're still in that zone, and it puts in a very negative kind of environment. Get up, have a shower, just make a routine for yourself. Routine is one of the biggest things that we've all lost, is that I have to be ready at this time, I have to do this. I love when I have the school run. I love that when Reen's here that I have the school runs, because it forces me to put myself into that routine. Yes. I have to get up. I have to get him ready for school. I have to get dressed. I'm not one of those moms that goes to school with the pajamas on. First of all, I don't own pajamas, but like I just wouldn't. Not over me standing at school with pajamas on. But like those small little things, set yourself a little goal every day to get up, have a shower, get dressed. And even if it means you have to sit on your couch until you do exercise, but you're up and you're dressed, for one.
Yeah.
People put themselves into a little hole, and you get stuck in that little black hole if you're sitting around all day in your pajamas. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for anyone else around you either, because kids can know that as well.
Yeah, it's the routine. Once you get up, get washed, get ready. And like you said, it's a bit easier now that the kids are back in school, because you have to get dressed, you have to go and do the school run, then you come back, then it's up to you to be like, okay, I've loads to do, I have to tidy the house, I have to get this done. 30 minutes, and then bang, done. It's done for the whole day.
Yeah, it's
and
done.
Not only
is
it done, you feel so much better, you'll be more productive in the whole day.
Yeah.
But the hardest bit is, like, when most people obviously have done some form of exercise, but if you haven't done exercise before, do it once, spend that 30 minutes, you'll feel so much better. Yeah. And it's almost like an addiction when you know the feeling that you have after working out.
Oh, it's completely addictive. Like if I go, I don't even like rest days. Like I get real itchy on rest days. I can't do them. Like I feel like sitting there going, I just want to, like, and you have to take them. I know you have to take them, but like I struggle on rest days. Like I don't know what to do with myself. But like, so don't get me wrong, it took me a long time to get to that stage as well. Though.
Of course, yeah.
Like it's very easy for me to sit here and say I don't like rest days, but like I have been, oh God, when we started 8 years ago, we started training. And back then I would have easily taken a rest day. Now fitness has just become part of my life. Like I can't function without it. Like look at when I had the ectopic, what was it, 4 years ago now? Is that 4 years? Yeah, it's 4 years. Like that was huge surgery. Like I nearly died, and I was sitting in hospital going, I can't wait to get back to the gym. That's not normal. That's not normal.
Madness.
No, you should be sitting in hospital. And even last year when I had the pneumonia, so it was actually this time last year that I got out of hospital, and I was more devastated at the fact that the gyms were closed than I was about the fact that the bars and my office and everything was closed. I was like, what? You mean I can't go to the gym?
Yeah.
And I remember panicking. I remember contacting you, but like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to work out? And you're like, right, we're renting out equipment and stuff like that. So like the gym is just part and parcel of me. It's like a limb. Like if it's not there, like I don't know what I do. And that's why I'm more annoyed at the government for closing the gyms, because you'll keep off licenses open and takeaways open, but you won't open a gym, where I felt safer in the gym than I did in Tesco.
Yeah.
Like you're walking around Tesco and people are breathing down each other's necks, but you walk into the gym, you're nowhere near and you're spraying stuff down every 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
We could talk about that one all day. I'll tell you that. Madness. But that's so basically, it's like, it's what motivates you is the feeling you're gonna have, whether you're hungover or not. You know the feeling you're gonna have. Sure, even cured your hangover.
There you go. Mental health is the big one.
I have to say, I wouldn't drink much now. Well, not that. I wouldn't. Sure. Even now, especially now. Sure, I've
because it's 3 kids now.
Yeah, newborn baby, night feeds a lot. I don't have time to drink. But even
finally a boy.
When I did, if I ever had a drink and I had a hangover the next day, there's no way I could exercise. And I know the feeling I'll have after, but I just cannot exercise. You know,
I have to.
I would always make sure if I'm having a drink, let's say on a Saturday night, let's say me and Sheila went out or whatever, I'd know, okay, the next day is just my rest day. I might go for a walk or something. That's about it. And I'd enjoy that rest day. But fair play to you. after a hangover. I'd never be able to do that.
Yeah, it's more, especially when I was kind of in the gym. If I was I'd book myself in for something, so that way I'd have. So I'm actually starting to get into kickboxing the past year.
Very good.
Absolutely love it. Like it's probably my favorite thing. But if I'm booked in,
You have to
then
turn up.
I have to go.
You're being held
I've paid for
accountable
it.
in another way.
It's there, yeah. You have to go, otherwise you lose your credit, you lose your money. So that's what I used to do to myself. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd want to vomit for the whole time, but like afterwards, you feel great. But yeah, it's not easy to exercise, especially when you've got a hangover. But the best thing you can actually do, especially when you're hungover, because at the end of the day, alcohol is a depressant, and I think a lot of people have turned to alcohol a lot in the past year with the pandemic. It's not even that they turned to alcohol; there's nothing else to do. So especially last summer, we had such good weather. Sure, I was sitting here at like 5 o'clock in the day, and I'd reward myself with a gin because I managed to get through another work day. And I'd be like sitting there on a Tuesday. Before the pandemic, there's no way in hell I would have even attempted to open a gin on a Tuesday. But I'd be sitting there and I'd be having a drink and having a barbecue and sitting out the back. But I'd still make sure that I exercise the next day, because otherwise you're on that come down from the alcohol, and that's gonna tie into another day. So you're gonna have the hangover that day, and the next day you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm not really feeling motivated. I've had a takeaway yesterday, my body feels like crap. There you go, you've lost another day of exercise.
Yeah.
So get it out of the way. It's a half an hour in your day. It doesn't even have to be half an hour, it could be 20 minutes. Get it out of the way and it's done.
Yeah, maybe that's why I don't drink much. Maybe it's not because of the kids. Maybe it's because I just can't exercise.
Because you're old and you can't handle it.
Come here, tell me, when you go to the gym though, what is your go-to? Would it be classes or gym? Do you have a preference, or is it just a bit of both?
My preference, yeah.
Gym
is my preference. But I think that's because I've been doing PT for 8 years. Between yourself, I've been with Darren, I've been with Jesus, I'm a PT whore. I've been with Glenn, I've been with Pajo, and I've got a new trainer now. I've got a kickboxing trainer. When I go into the gym, it's my me time. It's
and you're
my
more
way.
knowledgeable on what to do as well.
Yeah, I know what to do. I know what I can do. I wouldn't necessarily need a trainer. I do need that. I need someone to shout at me sometimes, but I know my technique is good. I know that I'm not going to injure myself, and I know the programs that I can put together, because I've obviously had programs with all of the trainers that I've been with. So I would suggest that if you're new to the gym, definitely start the classes, get involved. The classes were what started me when I started in Hullert. Loved them. Jesus, we used to have a little crew going. We had our 6 a.m. crews, me and Anya and Emma, and we come in, and Michaela would be there, and you get in the morning, everyone would be on a buzz. And it's less intimidating then when you kind of get into a group environment, because it can be very intimidating to go by yourself, especially as a girl. I still find to this day, when I walk over to like the squat rack, or I walk over to like the dumbbell section, you get guys looking, going, no way she's going to be able to lift that.
Yeah, and that's another 2 questions I wanted to ask you. When you first joined the gym, were you intimidated, and now do you feel intimidated? But the other thing was, when you use the gym, whether it's classes or the actual weights area yourself, do you have a gym buddy? Are you able to go on your own, or do you need someone to go with you?
No, I go on my own. I stick in the earphones and I get into the zone and do my own thing. It's not, don't get me wrong, it was great having a gym buddy. Like me and Lisa and Emma used to go together kind of on a Saturday, and we used to like meet up and we do each other's programs. So it's great to have that little bit of a mix.
Yeah.
But I do still kind of get a little bit intimidated if I go to a new gym. I'm not intimidating your gym anymore. Pretty much know everyone that's there, and even if I don't, I just kind of stick my earphones in and do my own thing. But the start, it was huge. It was a big thing. Like I again, that's that little bit of anxiety that you kind of go in and you feel like people are looking at you. But I think that people need to understand one sentence that I've been told, which is nobody gives a fuck about you. Like, not in a bad way.
Yeah, no, everyone's doing their
own thing. They honestly don't give a fuck. No one's looking at you.
And tell me then, what is your, like, you've been through all of that then, right? And going forward then, what is your actual goals going forward now?
It changes over time. So I keep moving the goalposts. So I started off last May, I think it was 24.7% body fat. I'm now down to 14.2. So my original goal was 16. I'm now 14.2. My next goal is I want to be 13 by the end of May. Like, I don't think you can actually have you have to have a goal month by month. I don't think turn around and going, right, we're in March now. don't give yourself a goal that's the end of the year or like the summer, this, that, and the other. Do it kind of month by month. Set yourself a goal for the month, because I think you're really you can't really gauge where you're going to be. If you say, okay, it's March, I'm say 14 stone, I want to be 12 stone in the summer. Not realistic. Give yourself a month. Say, okay, this month I'm going to lose 4 pounds. See how you get on. If you pass your goal, move your goalposts. Don't give yourself 3 months and 4 months down the line. Go month by month, because it's very hard to engage how your body's going to react to exercise. How is your body going to react to food? You might decide this month that you need to eat. You set your diet plan. Maybe that diet plan doesn't work for you this month, and you have to change your whole diet plan the next month. Like I had to cut out red meat for 2 weeks to see how my body would react, and was like trying going to maybe fish and chicken, and it had a huge impact on my body. But then I love my red meat, I love my steak, I love my mince, so you have to balance it. Like sometimes my cheat meal is actually like spaghetti bolognese, but like homemade spaghetti bolognese, but like I mean it's full of wine and all that kind of carry on. Like I make it from scratch.
It's good though that you have that type of mindset. Again, like I have to say, I'm delighted to hear you kind of talking about food and training in that way, because it's totally different to years ago, and even not even years ago, even like last year, the year before, or whatever. Like, and you have that mindset of
trial and error.
But your goal will always change, because and that's the thing people do, and that's a good point, because people say, okay, I'm on this. My goal now is to lose 2 stone or whatever it is, right? And then they lose the 2 stone. And then they're like, okay, I've lost that now. And now I've lost it from my holiday. Now I'm going on holiday. And then that's it. And one, they're not happy. And then when they come back off holiday, they're like, they're out of routine. But I already hit my goal. Now I don't need to go back to it. And then all of a sudden,
and then it goes slowly but surely, it goes back up again.
Yeah, but it's good.
Have this whole set of, I want to be this. It's like, no, don't do that. Like, who's to say, okay, I want to lose 2 stone, but who's to say you're going to be happy if you lose 2 stone? What's 2 stone? How do you know how 2 stone is going to look on you?
And like, then other people say, when they don't understand it, they're like, I want to lose 2 stone and I want to be a size 10. And then you could say that way. Okay, well, what if you lose a half a stone and you're a size 10? Would you be happy? Yeah, you know, and it's only when you
don't know how to answer it. It's all numbers. The same way when I first started training with you, it was a case of, I lost like 4 or 5 stone in total kind of over the years, but I was still a size 10 to 12. Whereas I'm up now in weight, but down in body fat and leaner. And now I'm size 8 to 10. It's so strange how your body works. I think people need to research more and kind of understand their body a bit more. Like weight means nothing. Weight is absolutely nothing. And one of the people I actually follow, who like would have been a friend of mine when I worked in Life Venue, was Siobhan O'Hagan. So you might know her, O Fitness.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Like, she can fluctuate between 69 and 75 kg, but she can still look a lot leaner at 75 kg than she did at 69. And I think she speaks about that a lot. So you need to follow people that motivate you as well. I think that people are too fixated on following people who look good in a bikini. And, this girl poses in bikini every single day, but their content is crap. Like the likes of Kiki Fitness or Sinead Hegarty or O Fitness, like follow people who are actually going to talk about the issues, who talk about the mental health side of things, who talk about the day-to-day, like who actually are honest. Darren Cartel, James Smith, those ones, like every day I kind of look at those and I'm kind of going, right, I listen to them and I get motivated. I don't look at the likes of like fitness models who just post a picture of their ass and their tits every day and go, I want to look like that. They don't talk about things. They just post pictures.
And they're holding a supplement beside them when they've been paid to do that. And it's crazy.
Drink this a week and you'll lose a stone.
It's a good kind of point to finish on as well. You have like your social media. People say any negativity in your life, you should just get rid of it and have positivity in your life. Okay. But that's the same for social media, because social media is our lives now as well. Follow people that are going to inspire you and motivate you. And if you see someone on your social media, on your feed all the time, and they're always putting up negative stuff or whatever, just delete them. Stop following them. And all of a sudden you stop wasting your energy on these type of things as well.
People, again, numbers. People are so fixated on how many followers they have on Instagram. So I said earlier on, when that girl made up that fake profile to message me, I decided to go through every single one of my followers and delete anyone who could possibly be just stalking my page to find out what I'm doing. So I went from 1,300 followers down to 700. Do I give a fuck? No. I don't care who follows me on Instagram as long as they're genuine people who I am friends with. So I had all these random pages and I was like, God, people are just like, people are nosy. People are always going to be nosy. And especially if people see you doing well, they're going to be negative. They're going to bully you. But that's not about you. It's about them. So I think people focus too much and they're so insulted when people like slag them or bully them or abuse them. But at the end of the day, that's not about you. It's about their persona. Look how unhappy they must be in themselves in order to go that way.
Yeah.
And the same way, you're looking at someone and saying, oh my God, she has the perfect figure and she has the perfect life. And don't ever think that everyone's life is perfect, because it's not. No one's life is perfect, and you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. They could be in a miserable relationship. They could have a really bad relationship with food. They might be so skinny because they don't eat. They might be so skinny because they have an eating disorder, or they overtrain. Overtraining is another thing that people do a lot, and it's something I used to do. I was training 9 or 10 times a week, and then I was wondering why I wasn't getting results. Well, I'm not getting results because I'm not giving my body a chance to rest and actually
training too much. That's why. What do you mean
I was training too much? I was training twice a day. I was like, too much exercise? Look at that.
It's madness.
Gone from doing no exercise to too much exercise, and then now found like a healthy balance. So it's important to find that balance. It takes a long time though. It's not.
Well, it seems like you found it though, in fairness to you. So credit to you. I'm delighted for you, Ash.
Yeah, getting there.
So from going from having a very bad relationship with food, not understanding, and why would you when you're not, say, a qualified trainer and stuff like that, nutritionist, why would you? But you've actually self-taught yourself, and now you're doing courses as well, which is great to hear. But it's just a total transformation of your whole mindset over the last few years, and that's really good to see. And now even your mindset and you're on life. Okay, I need to delete these followers. I need to do this. I need to do that. It's brilliant, and hopefully more people kind of get like that in the future and realize if they see a Instagram model holding their supplement, realize that it's not real as well. It's fake,
Not real, and they're being paid to do it. So, I mean, if you're paid to stand there and hold something up in a picture, you're gonna do it. Like, madness. We all have to get money from somewhere. So a lot of these influencers, they don't realize the damage that they're really doing, but at the same time, they're just trying to survive as well. So it's not, I don't fully blame them. I don't sit there and go, oh my God, they're hypocrites and this, that, and the other, because that's where they get their revenue from. So if that's where they get their revenue from and they're struggling, then give them a bit of benefit of the doubt as well and leave them to it. Just don't follow in their footsteps.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, like if they do have a big following now, they're actually going and doing, like we actually have someone on Air Academy becoming a personal trainer because they have a big following and they want to be able to give proper content out to people rather than just giving the wrong advice out, or rather than making sure they understand things and they're giving the correct voice out because the followers will be asking them. And that's really a good thing to see as well. And there seems to be a bit of a change. There's a lot of people now starting to do the right thing, whereas before they were just, other people would post stuff up just for the sake of it because they have followers. They think that's what the followers want to hear, or because they're being paid, as you said, to hold a supplement or whatever.
But they don't realize that half their followers could be very young, very impressionable girls who will suck that in like a sponge and really, really engage with that. And it's the wrong advice. And it's hard because, like, especially you have 2 girls. Like, thank God I don't have a girl. God, I don't have a girl. First of all, because nobody wants a teenage Ash. Like, there's enough of me. But second of all, there's no way I could raise a girl. So you have 2 girls to worry about. So the world does need to change in that sense. Like, and it's social media is toxic, but social media can also be used very, very, very positively. Like, I think people need to see the positive side of social media. Try and disengage with the negative side and the toxic side and engage with the positive side and follow people who motivate you, follow people who you actually like, not just because they look good. Aesthetics are one thing, but I mean, it's all about the content, not the pictures.
It's just content. About, when it comes to kids, it's about educating them as well and making sure they understand all these things and having these open conversations with them about why this is done and why you should do this and why you should do that and why you shouldn't do this and why you should have this type of mindset, because it's not going to help anybody if you're just looking at somebody else and their fake life, as it were, on Instagram,
Yeah, and kids these days are stuck indoors 24/7 because of this pandemic. They're not getting their their social skills. Like Reen is out of Gaelic, he's out of swimming, he's out of boxing, he's out of everything. So he does spend a lot of time, because at the end of the day I'm working, so I'm on the laptop. So he does spend a lot of time on Switch and kind of playing online with his friends and stuff like that. But they need to realize that online is not like, when I was kicked out onto the street when I was younger. I wasn't even allowed to sit in the house. I wasn't allowed to sit in the house, even if it was raining.
Yeah, get out and play.
Go out and come back when it's dinner time. And I'm like, no, I want to sit on the couch. Get out and sit inside. It was like, oh, well, I hadn't got a home. I was homeless for 90% of the day.
Madness.
We all were.
Oh, madness.
Getting footballs kicked at my head.
And now make sure that they understand all that, you know. But listen, thanks very much for joining me today on the podcast and sharing your story. It's a really important story and a message as well to people who are going through that, those issues with food, and realizing that there has been someone like yourself who has been through it. Obviously, there's many people, unfortunately, that have either been through it or are going through it. But
I'd say more now with the pandemic as well. So it's a big thing.
But you've shown that you're able to be in that place and transform your whole life and your mindset, and now to be in this place and enjoying food, understanding your training, and just having a healthy relationship with food, because it's just very important and people don't realize it.
Oh, so important. Don't be afraid of food. That's the one thing I will say to anyone who is struggling with food and kind of afraid to eat calories. Calories aren't bad. Carbs aren't bad. Fat isn't bad. Like, develop your own relationship with food, and don't be scared of foods, and just trial and error. It's all about trial and error and what your body likes and what your body doesn't. And it's going to be different for everyone. So one diet might work for you, but it won't work for someone else.
Exactly.
So don't ever follow someone else's diet. Follow your own, track your food, and figure out what works and what doesn't. And your trainer can help you as well. So it's a case of making sure that you write everything down. If you have a Kit Kat, eat the Kit Kat. If you have a 4-in-1, write it down. No big deal.
Don't feel guilty about it either, yeah.
Don't feel guilty. Love the food. Eat that chicken fillet roll.
Yeah. You said you don't like chocolate. I love chocolate, and I don't feel guilty when I'm eating it. I just make sure not to eat too much.
I did like it, because I think it's better to like chocolate than it is to like something like the Doritos. Do you know what I mean? So you're either savory or you're sweet, or you can be a bit of both. I'm definitely
about
savory.
balance. It's all about balance. All of it is about balance.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, thanks very much. I do appreciate it as always, and hopefully I'll see it in the gym soon when all this is.
You just open a little tunnel and we can all just crawl on the links and get underneath and go into it. Or deliver me a treadmill. That's all I want is a treadmill.
We'll look at it. We'll look at that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, listen, thanks very much. All right.
Talk to you later. Have a good weekend.
You too. Take care. Right. Bye. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. Please remember, if anybody is struggling with their food or they have any of those issues that we spoke about, please reach out to somebody and it will help you. If you are enjoying the podcast, please subscribe, tell your friends and family, and please share it on social media, okay? Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate the support.